March 18th, that's when those recreational trips to Detroit are put to a stop. The Canada-US border closed for non-essential travel. Just 2 days later, the region's first case of COVID-19 is confirmed.
As we are preparing for the return of March break travelers, we like to strongly urge all residents to practice social distancing.
The city declaring a state of emergency that same day. A little more than a week later, transit services are suspended to help curb the spread of COVID-19. 3 days later, the region's first COVID-related death. April 1st also marks when the first outbreaks in long-term care homes are declared. The St. Clair College Sportsplex opens up April 18th after being transformed into a field hospital.
Their backgrounds, their medications, their likes, dislikes, their personal history. So we have all that information already in place.
May 30th, the death of a migrant worker due to COVID-19. Less than a week later, the virus takes another worker. The latter will be the youngest person to die of COVID-19 in Windsor-Essex.
I feel sad for them and for their families. They come here leaving everybody behind, and they're brave men to come and work the best they can. They're very hard workers, all of them.
The health unit's mask mandate for businesses goes into effect June 26th.
And first of all, they want to be allowed to move into stage 2 immediately. They also want financial assistance, so some of that will look like HST relief.
As small businesses, we are the backbone of our community in which we live, raise families, and work. We have the best interests of our community at heart.
The following day, a greenhouse is shut down due to a staggering 191 cases of COVID-19 in just one weekend.
10 to 20 men in one house, 6 men in one bedroom, 10 men sharing one washroom. That is disgusting!
This fiasco has to end.
September 10th, that's when some students in Windsor-Essex return to school as they enter a new normal.
I have seen other places where they have shut down again, so that's what's gonna, eventually happen if something was to happen. But hopefully everything goes well.
But it's just 5 days later when the first case of COVID-19 is confirmed in a Windsor-Essex school.
It's concerning. We don't know how she got this.
December 7th, 27-year-old Wang James becomes the youngest person in the community to die of COVID-19 in our region.
This death is difficult. I have a daughter that's the exact same age. I don't have any words to actually capture how I really feel.
The very next day, an outbreak is declared at the village at St. Clair. By the time it's over, more than 300 cases, more than 60 deaths. A lot happens on December 14th. The health unit's mandated school closure goes into effect. And then there's the region's move into the gray zone, leaving business owners concerned about having to lock down while big box stores stay open.
Customers had 2 days to get in here. They told me they felt safer coming into my store than they would into a big box store.
There's much less merchandise and staff to keep track of. There's much less customers to keep track of. The tracing is much easier. I don't see a single Costco doing track tracing at the door with phone numbers and thermometer checks.
Just 2 days later, a grim milestone for the region.
Windsor-Essex has passed a COVID-19 case count that the health unit never thought would happen. As of this morning, 5,000 people have tested positive for the virus.
But there's a glimmer of hope December 22nd, when the first vaccinations take place in Windsor-Essex.
First in line, Crystal Malash.
It's actually a little overwhelming.
January 13th, the region hits an all-time high in its daily case count, 288 new cases, pushing Windsor-Essex beyond 10,000 total cases, pushing ICU capacity to its limit.
Talk about the stress. There's still some people that don't think this is real.
I live it. I breathe it here every day. I wish people in the community could literally walk in my shoes and see what I see.
The very next day, Ontario's stay-at-home order goes into effect.
It's unfortunate, but we have to do what we have to do.
People getting weight, people don't exercise, we're just staying at home, we don't even get fresh air.
I'm fully understanding of the situation, and of course it's very disappointing.
You guys are going to school on Monday!
Remember the health unit's mandated school closure? That's lifted on February 8th. 3 days later, the first case of a COVID-19 variant is confirmed in Windsor-Essex.
Well, I think it was a matter of time as we see that these variants are appearing in different parts of Ontario.
As of February 15th, Non-essential travelers looking to get back into Canada must now come to the border with proof of a recent COVID-19 test.
I'm actually surprised they lifted it. I thought it would be a little bit longer than what it is.
The very next day, the province's stay-at-home order is lifted.
We don't know what's going to happen next, right?
Get it while you can.
That's right, exactly.
This is the test facility for the non-essential travelers coming and returning back to Canada.
March 4th, another big change at the border, as the federal government sets up on-site testing for non-essential travelers at the bridge and tunnel. We've been faced with grim news day after day, but we can't forget the bright sparks that this pandemic produced. Communities rallying around their friends who got home after months of being in the hospital due to COVID. Neighbors letting their voices be heard.
Oh, Canada.
Like these people who met up weekly to honor frontline workers with the national anthem. Drivers here in the automotive capital of Canada, putting cruises together for people who had to spend their birthdays in isolation. And who could forget one of Windsor's biggest events, adapting to the new normal, letting moviegoers watch their favorite films next to the river, under the stars. Now, with vaccinations underway.
1, 2, empty. Bring it on. My wife's a healthcare worker, and she said the same thing. Get it. Everybody, get it.
A post-pandemic world may be just around the corner. Sanjay, Maru, CBC News, Windsor.